Avatar Fire and Ash is finally here. Should you be finding a theater very near you? Today we'll tell you in a review that's honest, true, and ladies and gentlemen, we have answers as to how the box office just might do. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to yet another video of pure excellence. This time a review of Avatar Fire and Ash, film that James Cameron seems to be running away from. Maybe, sort of, who knows? Sigourney's excited for the next one. Let's dive in, folks. It's fair, it's balanced, and it's looking into a future for how Avatar might do at the box office. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and get started, and let me tell you, Cannon, I'm a little bit hesitant, simply because I'm very excited for you and for how excited you are for the movie. I did not have the same experience that you did, though, okay? So I'm going to have a little bit of a different take. But you're important because I need this to be a well-rounded, well-balanced review. Can you do that for me, Cannon?
Yes, sir. Of course.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, let's dive in to Avatar Fire and Ash. Now, as you all know, as we get ready to do this review, this is a James Cameron thing, and everything has been thrown at this, including the kitchen sink and maybe a dozen kitchen sinks. It is heavily CGI. There are some live actors in this, and it is an extravaganza. It's a smorgasbord of everything you could ever want to see on the silver screen. But in my opinion, Cannon, it's too much. Whereas most movies, I think, have 3 acts. I would say this has 5 or even 7 acts, and I'm not kidding about that. Cannon, I felt like this film was probably an hour to 90 minutes too long. It reminds me, you know, the final act is by far the strongest, but it's kind of like if you eat at a buffet and you eat and you eat and you eat, and by the time you get to the fantastic dessert, you're so worn out. You've been through so much now, you can't enjoy the dessert that you would have in the way that you would have otherwise. This is a movie that goes on and on and on and on. Cannon, I'll tell you the other thing about this that kind of gives me a stumble. And again, the final act, the final 30 minutes is phenomenal. No doubt about it. But the other thing that I have a problem with in this film is that I noticed that every single bad guy is a white person with an American accent. There's no Asian accents. There's no Russian accents. There's no British accents. There's no Chinese accents. There are no other people other than those who look and act like American military, and sans one single guy, they're all bad guys. And what that does, I believe, and maybe this is because it's so popular overseas, they had to do it this way, but what it does for me is it kind of feels a little bit anti-human. But even if you say, well, it's not anti-human, it definitely is anti-Western society, maybe? I'm not sure. Our Smurf people, what are they called, Cannon? What are they called in the Avatar lore? The Na'vi?
Yes, the Na'vi, yes.
The Na'vi, there are some bad Na'vi.
Yes.
I gotta say, though, Cannon, I struggled to support these Na'vi. I struggled, you know, because... And we will have to do minor spoilers. I'm going to try to stay away from spoilers, but Zoe Saldana's character, Neytiri, I guess is her name. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to have to go there. I'm just going to say it. She wants to delete a kid.
Yes. Yeah.
Makes it hard to identify with a character who wants to delete a kid. I mean, that's one of those lines you just don't cross. And Jake Sully, Sam Worthington plays Jake Sully. He goes full Abraham in this thing, man. He's ready to sacrifice.
Yeah. That was
a little.
Yeah,
so that's tough for me. Okay. Stephen Lang does a fantastic job as the villain again. But it's a lot of movie. It's a lot of movie. Cannon, you loved it though. You have said that this is a phenomenal film. Give the folks out there the reasons why you think this is one of the best of the year.
Well, to me, one of the key things I really enjoyed was very much the pro-family messaging that they had in this film. That it's really hard to find that these days, especially not having this deconstructionist or this anti-father figure sort of a thing that they always do. But in this one, they actually make sure to keep Jake as the patriarch in this film. But also, I just really like the emotional connection that you can see with both the humans and the creatures, which it to me is very like pro pet. It's very pro like something where you have that special connection with someone you love, both a human and a creature. That sometimes like when you have a lost pet, and or just something where you just have that connection that you just you can't. It's hard to describe in words, but Cameron was able to really do a great job at that. And I agree that yeah, there were a lot of like questionable things about certain military things. I do think personally, I wish there was a little more of the Navi villain, the lady that is being put on screen right here.
She's a psychopath.
Oh yeah, no, she is. She's. I want to say a word, but I know we got to keep it family friendly. But she is one crazy lady.
Well, okay, let's go there then, Cannon, because that's another problem I have with the film. Another problem that I have with the film is this film needs kids to go watch it.
It does.
It's not a kid film. It is easily, of the 3 Avatar films, this is not the kid film. Like, I don't think you should take smaller kids to go see it. And there's a lot of cursing. The word that you want to call this lady, they do call her. And it took me out of the film several times, Cannon, when some of our characters, there's a big moment, you know, and it's like, hey, we're in this James Cameron cinematic moment now. Okay, this is the Gone with the Wind kind of thing. This is his Magnus, you know, that he's going to provide to us. And then a character will just like blurt out kind of an immature word or curse word that doesn't fit the moment whatsoever, you know, and it just kind of, I'll give you an example. Try not to spoil again. One of the characters, one of the kids is brought into this religious moment.
Yeah.
And there's it's a huge swelling situation. Mm-hmm. And the kid yells out BS in a happy way. And in that moment, you're like, that would be like if you were brought before the priest in your, an earthly religion, it's like yelling that out at the bar mitzvah. Like that didn't work at all. I don't know what they're doing. So, but yeah, I don't think that this is a kid film. No. In fact, I would say there are some places here that are just nightmare fuel for kids in ways that are psychological, right? So like the deletion of kids, there's animal deletions in horrifically awful ways. Yeah. There are signs of man, we can't even talk about some of this stuff. Animals that have gone through physical deformation.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So this is not a kid's film. And so when you say, well, it's a 3.5 hour long movie and it's really not a kid's film, man, I don't know how this is going to make it at the box office, really, versus the others, which are definitely not that way.
Yeah. No, yeah. That's to me, it is a challenge. I think it's going to be a challenge for a lot of parents to decide. But a lot of times also kids, at least in my experience, a lot of times I was introduced to many different films that they had swearing. And I as far as I can remember from my parents, I didn't really retain much of that. So, and yeah, there were those scenes, but they did seem to be a little more muted than they would have been there might have been a handful here and there, but there are some scenes that I think a lot of kids, it would be very difficult for them to handle when it comes to certain creatures and people. And, but it's just for a lot of younger ones, it would be a lot. I wouldn't say that I would want to recommend like kids under the age of 10 to see it, but I think like, especially like the out of moment swearing, that's something I feel like a lot of kids could also relate to out of the random nowhere, because I know I did that when I was little, but no, I think, to me, it does feel like it was more like Avatar 4 and 5 that James is now worried he's not going to do. We're kind of squished into this to make it this more efficient ending to cap it off for him, just so he doesn't have to feel as worried about not making those other films if this one doesn't do as well, as in my opinion.
Well, I don't think it's going to, but I'll tell you this. This movie is 3 hours and 17 minutes long.
Yeah.
I think you could remove an hour and 17 minutes and it would be a much better film. Bob Iger said that he watched it before they even did the cuts, whatever cuts they did, and that they should have left everything in. And I just think Bob Iger must have something he's huffing in the shower. Like he must, because this film's too long.
Yeah.
It's flat out too long.
Yeah.
It's too much.
Yeah. And I heard the reports that James handed him like a 9-hour cut of this. I might be mistaken, but I can't even. But I swear I know James, being who he is willing to record everything possible before he does cutting up. And I know there was reports saying he wanted to have everything CGI'd before he began the cuts. So, and I wouldn't be surprised if Bob Iger said, okay, you can put your theatrical version and then we'll put out Disney Plus versions, being Iger who he is.
Absolutely.
But
now,
no, it was long. Yeah, I agree.
It's very long. It's very long. And I'll give you an example of how this plays out. You know, there's a scene where Jake Sully is taken away. Okay? I think we're still safe on the spoilers.
It's in the trailer. Yeah, you're good.
Yeah. And as soon as that happens, we cut to another scene. And these kids, man, I get so sick of these kids. Every one of them should be named Waldo because they always are, off on their little Kid Quest adventure. The problem is Kid Quest adventures like the Goonies don't work if you've got people being deleted in horrific ways and the kids can actually be deleted that way. Like you got to pick one or the other. It can't be Saving Private Ryan and the Goonies at the same time. And this film wants to do both of them. Now, so Jake Sully gets taken away. The stakes could not be higher. And then we switch to the kids out in the water and they're facing off against squid creatures. And it's like, no, we can't go from that to roller coaster ride. You can't take us to a Hawaiian roller coaster ride with squid enemies that we know is a side quest. There's no way they're going to lose to the squid characters. Everybody knows it. And and it's like an 8-minute action romp of just, oh, here we go again. And there's no story happening there. That's the kind of stuff that could have been cut out from the beginning of the movie all the way until the third act. It is roller coaster ride after roller coaster ride after roller coaster ride after roller coaster ride. It's just too much. It's just too much.
Yeah, there's like 3 different kidnappings over the course of this film, I think. I might be mistaken. It might be more, or it might be less.
and the visuals, right. I got to say, the visuals are spectacular.
Absolutely.
I have no idea how the character Spider, the live action kid, I have no idea how they made it look so realistic for him to be in with some of these scenes from technical standpoints. I mean, it's amazing. And you got to give it to him. The problem is we're all desensitized to that now.
Yes.
Right. Absolutely. And so, but you have to see it in 3D, right, Cannon? I mean, you can, this must be seen in 3D.
Yeah, it is totally worth going. If you go either IMAX or even real 3D, whatever you can, it is absolutely worth the visual spectacle that James always delivers on.
Right. I mean, you're seeing this literally is one of those films where it's half the movie if you see it in 2D.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's just
okay.
Yeah. No, go ahead. Sorry.
The other problem I have with this Cannon is that it seems to me that it has a message that is distinctly anti-technology. It presents technology in such a brutalist way. There's no depiction of positive technology. Every bit of technology is used for military, complex kind of stuff. And, I love a good conservation story. I love the idea of connecting your hair braids with the world and, the lights, you get bioluminescence and everything's kumbaya. Cool. But when you have it be so that everybody except one, in the human world is bad and everything technology is bad and everything environment is good, you kind of start to get in this territory where it feels so ham-fisted that there's not enough nuance to ground it in reality. And so that's also another criticism I would give to the film.
Yeah, I agree. To me, what annoyed me, like when I look at the city, the Bridgehead City, which is the name of the human place, what annoys me is like it shows all this industrial smog and everything. And I'm like, what confuses me is this is supposed to be 100 years in the future where they have light speed technology, nuclear fusion, I almost guarantee is there. So why are they having to do such raw industrial things when the fact is we have clean, efficient industry here now that could easily be duplicated in 100 years from now? So it's, to me,
Cannon, I'm convinced that this is actually, James Cameron was inspired by the Sonic the Hedgehog video games. I'm convinced that the bad guys here are actually Dr. Robotnik, and they got a roboticizer in there because the bad guy world, what's the name of the fortress you're telling me is the name of the place?
Bridgehead City.
Bridgehead.
I believe that's the name of the headquarters, the capital of humanity on Pandora.
Okay, so Bridgehead looks like something Dr. Robotnik would build. I mean, it flat out looks like every single mass pollution, parts of China, every single mass polluting, factory you could come up with smushed together That's human world. And if you're a human, except for one guy who just randomly shows up, and I got to think he's probably they probably run in a consultation group who said, hey, by the way, you don't have a single good guy at all over there. It's a little bit. And so we get suddenly good guy who just appears out of nowhere and then disappears 5 minutes later. But hey, he's a hero for 5 minutes. Don't know who he is other than marine biologist. But he shows up. But other than that, every human's a bad guy. Every human looks and sounds like an American, mostly from Texas. God dang it, I tell you what, we can't stand these Na'vi. We got to get out here and really, I don't know why we're killing all these whales, but they're worth $1 trillion, quazillion dollars. So get their goo out of them. Let's go. That's pretty much the story. And when you don't have when you don't have any humans at all that are good, it just, I don't know. It feels like it's Fern Gully to the extreme this time.
Yeah, it does. The one thing I will say though, the marine biologist, it is kind of a redemption arc, because in the second film he kind of discusses how his research is paid for by the hunting of that juice from their brains, but that's why he also drinks.
Hang on, Cannon. Let me specify that for YouTube, because that could have been misinterpreted. Juice,
Yes.
YouTube. He said juice from their brains. Go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes. He does that, and he has to take certain water in order to compensate for the guilt he feels for having to do that. But he does get his redemption in this film on when he's able to do a certain thing. Yes, I do wish there was more of him being able to show the better side of humanity that is there. But to me, it's just, there's a lot of roughness in this that I feel like there are a lot of humans that I wish they could have explored the goodness in them. Because to me, at least in the first film, there was at least that good grounding of Sigourney Weaver and her team, who at least were very respectful and wanting to work with the Na'vi. And then these other two films, it seems like less and less people. But
it's kind of an angry film, Cannon.
Yeah,
it's kind of an angry film. I mean, it feels like it was made by somebody who's angry at humanity.
Yeah, which is kind of sad, because I feel like there's so much positive things that could easily be portrayed in what we've actually been doing, at least especially since the first Avatar came out. Like, there's a lot of great environmental things that could have easily been much more well represented, and it's weird. It's this weird balance of where, like, to me, when I watched it, it was like there were these moments that just completely made me tear up in joy and happiness, and these kind of scenes where you're like, ugh, this is just hardening and depressing to watch. And it's just,
now, let me ask you an important question, Cannon.
Yeah.
Here's the important question I need to know.
Yeah.
Are you going to go back to see it?
Probably, actually. Yeah.
Okay.
I will. Yeah.
Because
yeah.
Here's the thing. To me, this is a little bit like Wicked. Mm-hmm. Wicked for good. Because the other two avatars, I believe, are very watchable, because you go into these, like, there's action and all of that kind of stuff, but there are also at great length scenes of tranquility that you really don't get in any other kind of film.
Yeah.
This doesn't have that to such an extent.
No,
this is a very dark and dire, severely emotional, traumatic even film from beginning to end. And I'm not sure it's rewatchable for a lot of people to the same degree. But you say you will go back and see it.
Yeah, there's a lot of, to me, there's a lot of connection in my personal experience where I'm like, I see a lot of certain things that make me connect with a lot of what Jake and his family go through, especially just the animals and all, and also the relationship to their family, that kind of dynamic and those challenges. I don't have an exact one-to-one experience with everything there, but there's a lot of it where I understand. Well, yes, that scene was terrifying to see, the near deletion of children. There was a lot, the conflict you could see in Jake and Neytiri. It really motivated me, and it really moves you to watch those kind of experiences. And it's kind of hard to go through all of that so easily. And sorry, I know I
think it's fine to say this. I don't think we're in spoiler territory to say that. What's her name? It's Neytiri. Is that her name?
Yes. Yeah. Zoe Saldana. Mm-hmm.
Whole movie, man, up until the very end, she is obsessed with deleting a kid.
Yes.
Whole movie.
Well, she was.
She wants that kid. Like, you need to keep her away from a plastic spork. she's going to take that kid out.
Yeah, no, it was, yeah, and it was, to me, I did love seeing that redemption. I wish, to me, if they did cut it down, they were able to reduce all that anger to be able to get a little bit better of that redemption. I agree. And to me, there's a lot of stuff where I'm like, there could have been, when they jump back and forth between these places, I kind of wish they didn't have to do that, because it felt like they were just doing it to fill up time, but it wasn't necessary.
All right, so Cannon, we need your answer now.
Yes.
What score do you believe this deserves? 0 to 10. 10 is the greatest film you've ever seen. It's like The Godfather. It's like Citizen Kane. Some of you out there will disagree. Citizen Kane is a 10, but you know, you get the idea. It's a 10 out of 10, right? Would be just a phenomenal film. 0 out of 10, on the other hand, would be Birdemic, I'm sure. Cannon, where does this land in your mind?
That is a good question. It to me, it is better than Way of Water. It's pretty close to the original. Like, there are certain things that are better about the original. Some things I like more on this one. But to me, it's not as great as some of my other favorite films. But I'd say it has to be at least 8.5, 9 out of 10. Okay, 8.5. Is that where we're going to land? Yeah, that's best I can do. Like, I will recommend anybody who would like to, should go see this. They would. I think 8.5 out of 10. 8.5 out of 10. Let me go through what I've given the prior Avatar films. So the first Avatar, I gave in terms of story an 8 out of 10. Visually and technically, back when it came out, like 12 out of 10. Oh yeah. I mean, it did things that they were impossible at the time. But in terms of the story, and that's what I got to base movies on. 8 out of 10. Yeah. Way of Water, I come down to about a 7 out of 10. And this one I'm going to give a 5 out of 10. For the reasons that I stated, which is this one is difficult to watch and it's legitimately an hour and a half too long. Like, you could remove an hour and a half and have a much better movie. So where does that put us? Well, folks, if Cannon's giving it an 8.5 and I'm giving it a 5, I'm going to say we're landing right about a 6.8. Does that sound right, Cannon? 6.8 or 7? Yeah, right about there. Yeah. All right. That's going to be your official score, ladies and gentlemen. We'll go with a 7. We'll be generous. 7 out of 10. I'm lower. Cannon is higher. You all decide who's got this right. You go see the film and let us know what you think this deserves. For me, though, this one's a dark film. I'll just tell you, it's really, really dark, and it's 3.5 hours of really dark. So get ready, get your popcorn, and maybe go ahead and buy the candy bar, the chocolate bar. You're going to need it. And folks, we have come to the end yet again. Another video of excellence in the can. What a joy it has been to share time with you. We hope you enjoyed it as well. If so, consider clicking that like button. Share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. And as always, drop a comment down below. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, so waste not yours. Join a community dialogue today, just on down below. Folks, we are going to say farewell for now, but we will see you back. 4 is more, and that's how many videos we put out every single day here on the Pro Channel. Hope you enjoy them all. Until the next time, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.